3.2 functions. All right, so compared with 3.1, now our focus is for one of the very special relationships that is called a function. So now take a look at this. So what does diagram means here? What does this diagram means? Means this entire box is for everything that has a relation. That means if there's x and then there's a y. Now, there's smaller things within this large box, and that is function. So that means compared with the relations, only some of the relations are called functions. Now, within the functions, we have an even smaller set that is called one-to-one function. So although every single relation in this set is a function, they're not necessarily a one-to-one function. Okay, so then let's take a look about what the definition of a function and what is definition about one-to-one function. Okay, so now for example, now you have all these possible x values, x1, x2, x3, and then you produced these y values. From x1 you got a y1, from x2 you got a y2, from x3 you got a y3. So it's one and another one correspond to each other. In this case, it's called a one-to-one function. However, now you have x1, you produced a y1, you have x2, you also produce the same y value. That is also still defined as a function, but this is not a one-to-one. So you have different x values produced a same y value, but it's still, this is defined as a function. But if you look at something like this, you have a x value, you produced one y value, you produced another y value. And this is not a function. In other words, this is not a functioning relation. Now you think about it, you're just yourself, you're the same person, and then somebody, you would generate one reaction in one person and you will generate another reaction in the same person. Then that is not a very functioning relation, because you never know whether or not this person will be mad at you or whether or not this person will like who you are. You think about this, you are doing exactly the same thing, you're just being who you are, and the reaction always will be different. It might even be another, for crying out loud, another reaction. Then you will feel very, very uncomfortable because the reaction on the other party's side is very unpredictable. Now, how can you think this kind of relationship is functioning? No, it's not. So therefore, this is not a function. All right, so this is just a relation. It's not a functioning relationship. All right. So here we go. These things not very interesting whatsoever. So it says this is a pair, x value, y value, x value, y value, da 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 da. And what is the value of y when the x input is 0? We'll take a look at here. This is x is -5, x is -3, x -2. Okay, x is 0. When x is 0, what is the y? -2. I'll put -2. Done. Now, what does this mean? Vertical line test for a function. So now let's say this. If you have a function, if you have a relation, looking at this, right? And you use a vertical line, then this vertical line would hit 2 points on your graph. One is here, and then one is here. So for this point, you take a look at the x value. Supposedly we say x value is x1. The y value is y1 here. So you got x1 and you got a y1. Now this point here, the same x value, which is x1, but you take a look at the y value, this is y2. So then you have this dot here that is same x1 and you got a y2. So what does that mean? That means you have in this domain here, you got x value, which is x1. And in this range here, you have a y1 and you have a y2. So your same x value now produced two y values. Therefore, this is not a function. So if you use a vertical line, if the vertical line hit 2 points on your graph, then this is not a function. But you take a look at here. This is vertical line, vertical line, vertical line, vertical line, vertical line. It never will hit 2 dots. It only just hit 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Therefore, this is a function. Now here we go. Here the same thing. All the vertical lines, yes, this is a function. But interesting is that if I use a horizontal line, then I will hit 2 points on this graph. Now here, this y value is the same. You see the y value is all here. The y value is all here. So the y value is y1, but the x value, this is x1. This x value here is x2. So this point here, it has x1, y1. And then this point here, it has x2, y1. So there's still a function, it's just not a one-to-one function. So this means that in this domain, I have x1, I have x2. In this range, I produce just the y1 value. This is fine. This is perfectly fine, but it's just not one-to-one, because one-to-one has to be this one and this one, this one, and this one. They're always one-to-one. All right, so this is a function, but not a one-to-one. Therefore, using vertical lines to see whether it hit 2 points, if it does, then that means it's not a function. Then using vertical line to test whether or not it is not a one-to-one function. And we're done, 3.2. Thank you for watching.